I told you that this week we were going to not stop. Each and every day, we're going to tell you exactly why boxing is going to snub your entire program and prevent you from getting to the top. And as we get into this, I'm going to explain to you how do you prevent that from happening. And I don't care if you're at the very top of boxing or if you're just climbing the ladder, you're going to want to see each of these 5 steps, because if not, see, your program's definitely going to get repelled. And for those of you over there, yes, I have this baby right here, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you're going to get to this thing, or you're going to learn exactly how not to be controlled by the sport, because we're about to take back the narrative in the sport of boxing on an entirely different level. But before I get started, for those of you who've never watched this show, shame on you. Boy, you're late to the dance. My name is Eric A. Bradley, coach that is, and we teach boxing 3 decades. But we are going to show you right now how this all takes shape and the reason why your program, your career has constantly been controlled by the powers that be. And I'm going to make it make sense right here. Number 1. This is day 5 of this week, the politics of boxing. Let me know if you hear me by dropping your name down in the comment boxes right now if you're about that life of boxing. Number 2, right here, this is why the commissions are in control. They are the politics of boxing. And so how do you propel the powers that be in the sport of boxing? The thing is understanding how to repel them. And when you gain the leverage in your career, it's all about knowing exactly the game that they're playing. So, number 1, these guys are a nonprofit, right? When you see these belts, see, those people operate on commission. On money coming in, donations, and you're the donator. But at the same time, you're acting as if they're in the power. One of the things that I'd advise you is to kind of start doing your research on why do they control the industry of boxing with such prowess. The reason why you don't know is because you haven't looked it up and you don't know how to operate and play the game that they're playing. So if a teacher tells you you got to make an A to pass, then you're the fool, because you don't have to make an A to pass. You can make a 70 and pass, but you're not doing your research. See, this is why when I started doing this, I said, I'm going to give you the answers and I'm going to teach you the sport of boxing from the inside out, 3.5 decades in. Plus some 3rd generation. So the stuff that I'm going to break down on how to repel them is the exact same reason they never had control of us. We always got the fights we wanted. We always got the placement, the ranking that we wanted. Why? Because we knew the game. If you look at people like Canelo, Floyd, they controlled the game because they knew the game that they were playing. And once you start learning the game that you're playing, I'm going to tell you right now exactly what you need to do next. And this next thing is understanding. Number 1, repel. Repelling is, as we get to number 3, it's going to start making more sense. And when you get to number 4 or 5, it's really going to make sense and you can get the action. But I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to listen to this post and then go away and act like, well, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen because we winning. Well, you know what's going to happen with all of you winners? See, on the wall behind you, there's Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson. See, they all figured it out. And guess what? They're the only ones on the wall because they're about the only ones that figured it out. And so you need to watch. Because if you don't understand, number 2, you got to feed the nonprofit. How do you feed the nonprofit? That's what we're going to go over in number 3 and 4. You have to play the game. Because all of those other guys, they retired broke. I know, because I'm the guy out here raising money for funerals. All of the legends, that have passed over the past like decade. In some form or fashion, I was in contribution. You guys heard me do post about them. I don't even want to name names, but the thing is, if you don't stop, that's how the career is going to happen for yourself. If you don't get this thing in control and understand and have financial literacy and understand the game that these people are playing. Number 3, noise. Number 3, you got to make noise. You see, you just want to fight. You just want to show up at the weigh-in. You just want to get the purse after the fight. The entire time you're doing that, they're already thinking about how to get your ass out of position. You've seen it happen. Look at what Top Rank did to Bud Crawford. Look at what Top Rank tried to do to Floyd Mayweather. They tried to ride him up under De La Hoya and let him be the back. And now look at how that turned out. Floyd jumped from out of there, start playing the game because he understood what was happening. And so if you don't understand what's happening, it's going to happen to you, because I'm one of the guys that they call in to get funding, to create fundraisers. Because one thing I do, I know how to go out there and get money. Some of you have given us money, and we've been giving the money back to the game. But the reality is, if you don't learn how to play the game will play you. These are the politics of boxing. You will not get ranked if you don't know number 3. And that's double down. What we did, and I'm going to give you an example of what we are doing. When I came out of retirement to help a friend of mine whose son wanted to box, that I knew, I grew up with his father. And I came out of retirement to help him get on track in the amateur ranks. He passed away. The father did. And I promised him that I would guide his son. Hence is the only reason you guys see me in social media, because I was retired by the time social media really kicked off. But what we did do is I taught those guys how to speak on camera. I taught those guys how to have a voice. I taught those guys the importance of building a personal brand, because when you're out here, what you need to really understand about the sport of boxing is that if you don't understand the game you're playing, and 99.9% of you don't, it's just in the operation. I look at a whole lot of you guys' social media. I look at how you operate when you're on the fight cards. I just had a really amazing conversation and back and forth with Hector Camacho last night on the Fight Show. And he understood the importance of what I know and what we're sharing, and the reason why it's important for amazing people that have great minds and great lineages like people like that is that now you understand that there's a higher calling. There's another game being played. So you got to watch the commission, but you got to understand how to repel the commission. You got to be able to understand what is the benefits and the process of a nonprofit, so you can feed the nonprofit and play the same game, and then they'll get on your side, because you're not going to get ranked because you don't understand the game that they're playing. So you're in their way. You're more of a detriment. I don't care how good your left hook is. I don't care how good your peekaboo is. I don't care how good your Philly shell style is. They don't care about that. They're playing the game. There are a bunch of people who are watching the Richter scale, not your weight scale. Take a look at people's eyes. Pay attention to the people that are not the athletes at ringside, and you'll understand what's really important to them. Getting their apparel on your waist and your hat so they can keep getting donations. There's nothing wrong with that, but you got to play the game. You got to repel and you got to feed the dragon. And if you don't have this, you got to double down, and is getting these guys educated, putting them out here. Because what we're doing is, let's just talk about a good old super nice program that's been up on our tutelage in the School of Boxing for the past 4 years, whatever. And that is K2 Boxing and Jiu-Jitsu in Everett, Washington. Special shouts out to my programs, my guys running the programs over there. Coach Colazar, he deserves to be shout out because he's doing a magnificent job and he's understanding the importance of having control over the narrative about your own brand. Go over there and check him out if you're in Everett, Washington too. But the key is, see, to understand the game. Now the game's coming to. Why? Because the guys are being in a position. So he understood making sure you have social media management so you can learn how to put that stuff out there, what they want to see. You can learn how to make them come to you. You can learn a lot of things about having the opportunity to control the narrative about your own voice. See, it's all about the controlling the narrative. When you can control the narrative, champ, and you understand the game they playing, champ, and you feed the dragon. See, this ain't bullshit. I don't play boxing. I take boxing serious. That's why I stay consistent, because I know as long as I'm bringing the smoke, none of them can control me or anyone that I have any kind of relationship with in this sport. I sit on the throne, and so will you. If you listen and take notes to number 4. Listen to me when I'm talking, because if you don't, I can promise you this. You're going to be the ones that's still thinking that it's your skills that pay the bills, while there's an entire different game being played right up under your feet. Tell me why nobody else got $100 million check in boxing. Why? Because you don't know what you're doing. It ain't got shit to do with your skills. Absolutely nothing. So stop being delusional and wake up. That's just like a man saying, I'm going to work hard to become a millionaire. Ain't nobody working hard that's become a millionaire. It's all about understanding, investing, having your money make money, then learning how to make passive income, and then learn how to have cash flow off the money you're making. These are denominators of the ways money comes into you. So if you don't even know that, I don't care how many bricks you lay, you're not going to become a millionaire, because millionaire is about diversifying. Number 4, team. Create your voice. Create your voice and team up. Get the entire team to magnify their voice. You used to see me, if you follow me in 2017, 2016, 2015, my team would always be there and someone would be up front. They'd rotate. That's exactly what I'm doing with these guys when I mentor them in the school of boxing. It's showing them how to own the game. My guys had never fought, and they were the most popular people in social media. They were getting offers from companies like Power Hands, and not the same way you are. They just want you to sell. We were getting paid percentages, real percentages, partner percentages. Understanding the game starts to reflect your awareness and knowledge. That's why you'll never become a millionaire if you don't understand these principles, because the politics of boxing has way more juice than you will ever have. But if you understand it, you'll never ever lose your leverage. And that's what I teach. I don't just teach skills. I don't just teach Philly. I just don't teach peekaboo. I'm a technician and a tactician. But that's not what the game is about. First is process and understanding the politics. Number 5. Once you understand the narrative, you can control it. So it's overcome the narrative. You can't overcome the narrative. I don't care if you're 30-0. That's why people in boxing want to stay undefeated. You know I'm right. You scared to lose. Your ass scared to lose because you know you lose leverage. But if you understand how to play the game, numbskull, you don't even have to. You could be 30-30. You don't need that. It's all about the game you're playing. And a lot of you guys refuse to do your homework because you're lazy. So stop being lazy and understand it's a whole different thing. Why do you think I get to sit in boardroom tables? All of these different organizations reaching out for me to come speak and be voices, teaching them, teach us what you know. They want to be current. They want to be up to date. Well, I'm telling you, the reason why Jake Paul and the reason why KSI, the reason why they're industry leading in a sport that they didn't even have as amateurs is because you're being lazy. And in 3 years, I call all of these things. I call everything that's going to happen in boxing. I've already called all the stuff that was going to happen. And now, in 3 years, real boxers who had amateur programs will have absolutely no value to promoters. They will absolutely have no leverage with any of the promoters and sanctioning bodies. Will want to not have you on their cards. Watch what I'm saying. I said boxing was going to get excoriated from the Olympics. I said that the MMA world is going to cross over into boxing and it's just going to become a thing. It'll be a Super Bowl match every year. And we just had one with Fury and Ngannou at the floor. They opened up a door, but it was already going to happen. It's just inevitable. And the same thing's going to happen. If you box and you've been boxing since you were 8 years old and you're going to be watching a YouTube guy because he understands the game and you don't. So coaches, this is what I want to educate you on because the sport will get frugal and we have to have awareness of the politics that's going on. I don't care if you decide you don't want to vote for the president, but don't complain. But this is the sport that you're in. And if you don't get in line right now, Saudi Arabia is already buying the game. And if you don't do anything, the integrity is going to be stripped away from these young amateur kids that are boxing every day. And when they get to the pros, they won't even be able to get on the main event card. They won't even be able to get on a card. They'll be on undercards. They'll be 27-0 on undercards because there's a YouTuber that has 3 million followers that can put butts in seat and he can actually speak to a camera. So I want to ask you a real question. Do you think that you and your fighter will take precedence if Logan, KSI, and Jake pull together and build an industry to keep you out? Who do you think the commission is going to team with? The guys who can put 50,000 tails in seats, or you with the kumbaya story? So these are things that are important. And I hope you're taking great notice to this because how do you get on top and then stay on top and control the narrative? Well, it's business, something that you've been hating to deal with, but it's the actual narrative. And I'm going to tell you something. I told Camacho, and special shouts out to him and his father and the Mosley family, everybody that I have on the show, because I understand this era is a different beast. And any of you who have a page who watch, and you know how tough it is to really get traction. Fortunately, I have traction and I have a voice and I control the narrative and I'm going to feed you information. But the thing about it is you got to show me you listening. Next week, we're going to be having deeper conversations on Zoom. And if you are serious about learning, I'm going to give you the right secrets that you need to stay on top, to move forward, no matter what level you're at in the professional ranks of boxing. This is professionals only. And I'm sorry, guys, it's not for everybody because you're just not there. Just continue to follow me. If you continue to follow me, you're going to learn and you're going to understand more and you're going to ask questions more and you're going to stop asking for footwork and you're going to start asking for knowledge. And when you get that knowledge, you come and register for my college in Champions University so you can learn this stuff. And you don't want to be afraid that if you lose, you're going to lose cachet in the marketplace. Yes, your value will drop. And what we always said to these fighters is your stock score will drop. And it will. And when your stock score drop, it's your FSS, your fight score stock. And if you don't keep that thing up, they will banish you and you won't even know why. That's what I mean. One of my fighters got a draw at the time it was time for him to rise to the top or be legendarily known as a great sparring partner. All the industry does is control you. He was out in California, so I'm on the East Coast. I couldn't do anything. But the thing about it is I can help you. So if you want to learn and understand, go to my DMs. Don't type shit here. Go to the DM and type I'm in. Because if you don't, the game's going to eat you alive and you're going to be the gum on the bottom of people's shoe. I said it once and I'm going to say it again. Don't let this thing control you. You control the game and you control the leverage, the commission. You repel them. You feed the beast. You double down on the dragon. You team up like a powerhouse and control the narrative. If you're not going to let this happen to you, go to the inbox in the DMs and type I'm in. Next week, we're going to do a Zoom call and I'm going to give you all the game. That's all I got. Coach Bradley and I'm out. Don't play. This is real. The kids that you're raising up right now in the box, you want to make sure that they get to that next level. When I give you the game, that's what's going to get you to the next level. That's all I got. Special shouts out to my brothers in the School of Boxing. So long.